This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weight. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show.
Happy Friday, the Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center. Montana state law says it's your vehicle, it is your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center. Coming up today, we're going to talk NFL sports betting with Pac-12 analyst and NFL Network sports betting expert Mike Yam. He will join us. Also, we're going to talk NIL, name, image, likeness, with one of the few female agents in the NFL. Emily Staker will join us, and a whole lot more coming up on this Friday. And hope you have a great week. Hope you've had a great day today. Really, we have. You can watch the show on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can listen on Podbean, Network One Sports, TreasureStateRadio.com, and more. As always, go to JasonWalkerShow.com. And if you want to email us, Jason@JasonWalkerShow.com. Our email is our Twitter handle, Jason, or at JWalkerSports. And our phone number is 406-209-1267 if you want to weigh in. Sporting my new University of Providence track and field polo shirt. Golfed in it today. Shot a 45 on 9. Okay with that. Not bad, but not great. I think we'll be in the money, my partner and I. But thanks to Coach Tony Arnson for the new polo. By the way, we'll be in Butte tomorrow on SWX, and we'll have the call of, with Rocky Erickson and I, we'll have the call of Tech and Providence, men and women tomorrow. The women of Providence doing really well, the Tech men doing really well. Oh man, it is it's a great weekend. Jason Walker Show, the opening segment brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes, the premier log home company in the industry. 3 distinct divisions so you can create the log home of your dreams and, most importantly, really, your budget. You got milled log packages, logs of consistent diameter and offer great versatility, beauty, and strength for your home. You can contrast that with the handcraft division, each log individually crafted together to create walls, trusses, and all the extra details only this type of construction has. And also timber frame. Montana Custom Log Homes does everything from mortise and tenon joinery to steel joinery and every combination in between. Check them out, yourcustomlog.com for more info. All right, so in Bozeman last night, and we'll start with the high school games. And look, the Bozeman and Gallatin boys. Okay, so last month, Bozeman beat Gallatin 61-24 in boys basketball. Now, Gallatin's second season, we get it, right? Last night was a fantastic basketball game. And if you didn't get a chance to see it on SWX, wow, you missed out. It was a lot of fun. And Bozeman ended up getting the 14-point win, but it really wasn't that close. And congratulations to Coach Hostetler and the Bozeman boys. Now, on the girls' side, look, going into last night, the teams had combined for like 3 wins. It wasn't great. Bozeman ended up getting the victory last night. But Wes Holmquist and Gallatin, going to be good. Bozeman and Katie Mobley, going to be good. What's her name? Emily Williams? Emily Williams was lighting it up last night for Bozeman. It was so much fun in the fourth quarter to watch that basketball game. And it was cool to be back in Bozeman, back in the South Gym, and checking all that out. It was a lot of fun. On the, let's see, high school, let's go NAI. Wow. How about the Carroll men? A statement victory over Montana Tech last night. So in the Frontier, there's only 6 teams. You play each other 3 times. It's a screwed up deal. The Frontier has never planned ahead because, God forbid, you had Westminster knowing you were going to leave in 2014. You knew LC State was going to leave a couple years ago, but God forbid you plan ahead. So you only have the 5 or 6 teams. So you play each other 5 times or 3 times. 5 teams, 6 play each other. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But seriously, it was the Carroll men and Tech men. There's nobody close. Not one team. I think they have the Carroll men win last night. Okay. And great crowd, great environment. Both now 11-2. Carroll 25-3. Tech 22-6. The next closest team is Northern at 6-7. They're 5 games back on the Frontier on the men's side. And then Western, Rocky, and Providence bringing up the rear, which is really, really strange. So Carroll beats Tech. There's 3 games to go. They're automatically the 1 and the 2 seed. Now, Carroll owns the tiebreaker over Tech by virtue of winning 2 of the 3. So if they end up tied at the end of next weekend, Carroll gets the number 1, Tech gets the 2. They're both getting the first round bye. Okay? That's the way it is. But home court advantage will be huge in the men's Frontier standings this year. Carroll won twice over Tech in Helena at the P Center. Tech beat Carroll handily a couple of weeks ago down in Butte. Now, Carroll owns the tiebreak over Tech, so that will be huge playing into the factor moving forward. On the women's side, it's still up in the air. I think Rocky's going to end up being the number 1 seed because they've beaten Carroll twice. They play tomorrow in Billings. They've beaten Providence, Rocky and West Keller have. So Rocky, I think, will be the 1 seed. And then you've got Providence and Carroll battling for the 2 seed. Here's the thing. After that, nobody cares. And no disrespect, but Montana Western, Tech, Northern are a combined, 8 and 31? My math is right. It is. That's not good. Now, upsets can happen. I get it. The Frontier is crazy. But Rocky, Providence, and Carroll on the women's side, heads above everybody else. Now, it's going to be interesting. So have Providence and Carroll played all 3 times? I believe they have. And let's see. Carroll, Providence. Let's go through the standings. There's 1, 2. Carroll and Providence play the last game of the year. Carroll women at Providence. That could be for the 2 seed. Now, if Carroll women win tomorrow, so there's only 2 games left in the Frontier. Carroll women are at Rocky tomorrow and then at Providence. Tough go, right? Carroll women lost by 14 at Rocky a month ago, lost at Providence by 3 early in January, also beat Providence. But Carroll has not beaten Rocky this year. Tell you what, that women's race, man, it's going to be fun. It's really going to be fun. And the men's races, it's Carroll and Tech, and that's it. And then on the women's side, it's Carroll, Tech, and Providence. Rocky, Carroll, and Providence. The Tech, I'll be down there tomorrow. And Carly Sannon's been there a long time. She's a pretty good coach. She gets great recruits. Tavia Rooney is amazing. This could be, in my opinion, this could be the last season for Carly Sannon. She hasn't won. She hasn't won at Tech at all. You beat Carroll early, but 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that doesn't matter now. This could be Carly Sannon's last year down at Tech. I'm calling it. Okay, so the Big Sky last night, we're going to talk to Emily Staker coming up. But you look at the Big Sky last night, The Montana State women stumble in overtime at Southern Utah. Great team. And we talked about it the other day, Wednesday. The Montana State women and Tricia Binford landed in Portland Wednesday, planning on playing the worst team in the league, Portland State, at 0-12. And then you find out Portland State can't play because of COVID, which at this point in time, if you're vaccinated, play the damn game, right? We're done with COVID. I mean, you've got Democratic governors like dropping mask mandates. Let's play the damn games. So the Cats are preparing for Portland State after 2 days, and then all of a sudden find out they can't play Portland State, so they fly over to Cedar City, Utah to play, well, a 9-3 team at the time. They stumble in overtime last night. 8-game win streak snapped. Now you've got Idaho State 11-3, and then Southern Utah and MSU at 10-3 in the Big Sky women. Cats will rebound. They play, I believe, NAU tomorrow. On the men's side, though, holy cow. I mean, it's getting tight. And the Bobcat men with a huge win last night, they've now won 10 straight. That's a record. Montana State hasn't lost in 2022 on the men's side. Danny Sprinkle and the boys. They're a half game ahead of Weber now, the Bobcats are, at 11-2. Weber 11-3. Southern Utah's 9-3. Northern Colorado 9-4. And slipping down to 5 on the men's basketball side on the Big Sky, Montana. Stumbling at home last night and snapping a 14-game home win streak. Unbeaten at home this year. But the Grizz men lose at home in overtime to Northern Arizona, which is not a great team. So the Grizz in the last couple of games, 2 out of the last 3, have lost to 2 of the 4 worst teams in the Big Sky, Idaho State and NAU. Montana State, though, on a roll. And you heard Danny Sprinkle talk about it on Tuesday. They're not satisfied with just making the championship a year ago in the Big Sky Conference tournament. They want to win the damn thing. And they just very well may. Let's see. What else is going on? Man, you got state swimming underway right now. You've also got state wrestling. The girls last night got started at Metro Park. Flathead taking the early lead, looking for a second consecutive state championship, and to be the only team to win the state championship so far in women's wrestling. Flathead with a 18-point lead over Senior. Glacier, Skyview, Butte sitting the top 5. And that continues down at Metro Park. The boys getting going today as well, which is, I mean, I have never been, but I can tell you it is the greatest state basketball or state tournament in all of Montana. And I haven't even been. That's just how good it is. You just know it's good. We're trying to get an update from the state swimming. And Lindsay Rossmiller is up there. And we'll try to get an update. Maybe Monday with her. There's a lot of action going on in wrestling right now. Or swimming. Wow. It is a Friday, right? We're having a good time. Let's see. What else did we want to hit on? I think that was about it for the most part here in the opening, the walk and talk, the opening segment. By the way, if you haven't done so yet, go check out, I don't want to push GoFundMe, but I will. Luke Denherter underwent his second round of chemo yesterday, his 4th battle with cancer. And great friend of the show, just a great dude, Luke Denherter. And you can find the GoFundMe page on our page as well. But help out Luke if you can. And by all accounts, checking out with his fiance, he's doing well. So that is absolutely wonderful. Man, we wish the best for Luke. There's no question about that. He is the man. Real quick last night, so checking your top scores from last night in basketball. The 34 for Shelby, Rhett Reynolds. 31, Jory Clary of Shelby. Drea Wacker of Millstone. And Caleb Ball of St. Regis, each putting up 30. And lots of great basketball last night. It's going to continue. We are so close to state tournaments. By the way, your rankings, 406mtsports.com rankings, as of Tuesday, Capital number 1 on the boys' side, and then Bozeman, lone loss to Capital. Hellgate, Great Falls, CMR. In Class A, it's Lewistown, Dillon, Butte Central, Browning, and Frenchtown. Class B, Lame Deer, thanks to the Tuesday night win over Lodgegrass, now number 1. Lodgegrass drops to 2, Columbus 3, Florence Carlton 4, St. Ignatius 5, and then Fairfield, Three Forks, Townsend, Wolf Point, and Thompson Falls. Class C boys, it's Manhattan Christian, Floyd Lake, Luster Christian, Hart Butte, Broadview, Lavina, which lost for the first time recently, Broadus, Belt, Millstone, Roy Winifred, and Darby. Girls, Class AA, the top 2 teams, West and Hellgate, combined 25-0. And then you've got Skyview, Flathead, and Capital. Class A, it's Havre, Billings Central, Dillon, Browning, and Hardin. Your typical top 5 on the girls' side. Havre, Billings Central, and Hardin, along with Dillon Browning. Man, so good. Class B, Jefferson upset the other night, so they dropped to 2, the Panthers. Colstrip, the new number 1, followed by Jefferson, Big Fork, Big Timber, Malta, and then Anaconda, Red Lodge, Loyola, Thompson Falls, and Florence Carlton. In Class C, it's Roy Winifred, Saco, Whitewater, Hinsdale, Manhattan Christian, which lost recently, Box Elder, Plentywood, Belt, Shields Valley, Charlotte, Sealy Swan, and Millstone. That's your tops as you head into the weekend. All right, quick break. We'll come back. We're going to talk name, image, likeness, and NFL next. Emily Staker is going to join us. Jason Walker Show, opening segment presented by Montana Custom Log Homes, family-owned and operated, veteran-owned, and women-owned, milled, handcraft, and timber frame. If you were looking for a log home, you need to go to Montana Custom Log Homes. Check them out at yourcustomlog.com. Jason Walker Show, presented by Capital Collision Center. Emily Staker. Next, Jason Walker Show.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, go to Capital Collision Center on Euclid.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Who doesn't love being number 1? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number 1, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number 1 is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back. Jason Walker Show on a finally Friday, presented by Capital Collision Center. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. Going to talk to Mike Yam about the Super Bowl betting coming up. on this day in history, the walk-off, and much more. But it is time to welcome in our first guest of the day. Looking forward to chatting. We've been trying to hook this up for a couple of weeks now. She is an NFL agent. She is also very in touch with the name, image, and likeness. Her name is Emily Staker, and she joins us now here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Emily, how are you? Oh, are you muted? Oh, there we go. All good now? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. She hears us. We can't hear her. You know what we're going to do? Hold on. We're going to do this. We've done this before. I'm going to call you, and the video is going to work at the same time. So get ready. This is going to be this technology. We're small school here, so all right. There you go. Emily Staker joining us. We got you now.
Awesome. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for your patience.
Yeah.
So are you based in Washington? Is that right?
I'm based in Seattle.
Okay.
So my family has a lot of ties to Montana. My mom was born and raised in Lewistown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my brother went to the University of Montana, but I grew up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, so lots of Northwest ties.
Definitely. I reached out to you a couple of weeks ago because you are one of the few female NFL agents. What's that like?
You know, it's gotten a lot better. So I started working in this space about 6 years ago. And in that time, you know, I didn't have a lot of women that I could look to for guidance to really learn from. But I think now, you know, every year more and more women are getting certified, and it's great. You know, there's a greater level of trust and credibility that I think players are willing to give women in this space. And I think really right now, a lot of players are starting to realize, you know, some of the advantages of having a woman as an agent in terms of, you know, we have different negotiation styles. We have different types of representation. You know, we have different types of relationships with our guys. I know for a lot of women, their players are like their sons or their brothers. And, you know, it's just a different dynamic. And there's a lot of players who recognize the advantage with that.
And that's actually, I mean, that's a great point because, you know, especially with guys in sports, you don't think of women helping them out. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I love women's athletics. I love women in sports. We support them as much as we can. But to be an NFL agent, you know, it takes balls. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you're negotiating big time stuff here.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, and I think at the end of the day, there's still an unfair standard in that we have to do everything perfectly, right? Because if we mess up, then, you know, we're judged in different standards than maybe men in this space. So I think we all feel the weight of that on our shoulders, right? Because we don't, you know, one woman's mistake could be reflected on the rest of the women in this space. And I think we all take that really seriously. So we definitely are all, you know, on it and try to, you know, be as tough as we can as negotiators, but also just as accurate and have as much integrity as possible throughout the process, because we all know that we are kind of judged in that unfair way.
So how many gals are there representing NFL or professional athletes?
Each league is different, right? I think the NHL probably has the least amount of women as agents. Okay. But I will say, you know, in the NFL, there's maybe 20 or 30. Yeah, I doubt there's more than 100. I don't really know, but, you know, as far as like within the NFL, I can, you know, name every single woman in this space.
Who are some of the guys you represent? Can we say?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I work with Summit Athletes is the agency that I work with, and we have, we've worked with over 150 NFL players. So I think, Steve Smith Sr. is probably our biggest client, but we've got a lot of guys, through the ages, and it's been great, working with them. I started off solo as an agent, and Derek Fox, who started Summit, he's been in this for like 30 years. And I wanted to wait before I decided to join a bigger agency until I found one that my values really aligned with. And for them, they're all about integrity. They're all about doing things by the book. And especially when it comes to NIL, which I'm helping them kind of expand their NIL operations, that's really important to me, is making sure that we're really taking care of our guys, we're playing by the rules, and we're also thinking in the long game.
Well, and that's one thing I wanted to ask you about, too, is the NILs. Emily Staker joins us here at Jason Walker Show. Do you have Cooper Kupp? Because he's your guy. I mean, he's the Pacific Northwest dude.
I know. I wish we did. I really wish we did. He really was such a diamond in the rough. I think Eastern, of course, has pretty consistently has some pretty high quality guys that maybe people don't know about. Of course, Cooper's maybe the most prominent, but he's a stud, and it's awesome to see because a lot of schools like Eastern Washington, kind of get overlooked. And so I think it's good when guys like that do have the success that he has, because it puts agents on notice, it puts teams on notice. Like, we need to up our scouting game and make sure we're not making those misses.
Are you just NFL, or do you have other athletes?
So as far as athletes go, I'm just NFL, but I also represent sports broadcasters and then some influencers as well, which lends itself a pretty significant advantage in terms of a lot of the sponsorship and marketing opportunities that I present to my athletes, because it's the same brand reps at the end of the day. Sure. And there's a lot of opportunity to sort of build upon those relationships, and they're always, really excited when I bring the opportunity to work with our players to the table.
So you represent sports broadcasters. Coincidentally, that's kind of what I do. So I could hire you as my agent. What could you do for me?
It really depends. So for like my clients on TV, their contracts are a little different. So they'll renegotiate or negotiate with a new station every few years, and that's always an undertaking, very similar to athletes in that way. Of course, when you're on TV, you have different stats, right? But you still do have stats to an extent. And so there's a lot of similarities there. But then, of course, in so many ways, I talk to our athletes and a lot of my clients about, if you are an athlete or you're on TV, in so many ways you are an influencer, and your platforms are influential, and you're able to monetize that. And so for so many of my clients who may not identify as an influencer, because that term can be stigmatized, understandably, because there's some, really poor behavior in that space, but there's a huge opportunity to make income. Exactly. So I think trying to build their brands kind of away from what they do in the 9-to-5 or what they do on the field is a huge part of my job, and trying to just generate as much income for them as possible.
I'm going to hire you. Seriously, I'm not joking. This is like, I want to stay where I'm at. I want to continue to do what I do, but branch out. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk off the air about that, because that's going to happen. She is an NFL agent on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. Her name is Emily Stager. All right, so NIL is a big deal right now, and I was actually having a conversation with a couple of buddies in Golf League today on the simulator here in Helena. I like it, but I think there needs to be some reining in. And I know you're an agent, you're trying to get the most money for your clients as you can, but at the end of the day, is this a really good thing for NCAA or NAIA athletes?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of gray, right? The first thing I'll say is this is not the first time that athletes are getting paid, right? We all know that.
Right.
We're not naive. However, NIL allows athletes to be paid directly, which there's not a lot of people who know about some of the dynamics that were happening prior with runners, and there's a lot going on kind of under the cover that people didn't know about before NIL, and the money wasn't going into the players' pockets necessarily. So I like NIL because it's regulated, it's transparent, it's in the open, and the money is going to the player. That I really like. I think that's really empowering. And I think it's really important for them because it builds financial literacy when you're starting to make that money. Because otherwise, a lot of these kids, they have their stipends for living on campus and eating on campus, and they aren't getting that financial literacy and those kind of skills otherwise. So NIL gives them the opportunity to experience what it's like to be an entrepreneur, and to build your brand and to save money. And I think it's great in that way for those kind of skills. Now, of course, there's downsides, I think, for me, because I'm also an NFL agent and I work in the context of an NFL agency. We work with guys who we know are going to have a future in the league, right? Okay. We don't know how long it's going to be because that's life, but we work with these college guys that we know the NIL is a small part of a much bigger picture. And so for us, it's, okay, how do we generate this off the field income in a way that's really long-term thinking, and we're starting to develop their personal brand. We're starting to get them these relationships with different companies and get them comfortable, whether it's doing sponsored content or doing advertisements, while also keeping football in school as their number one priority. And I think for me, as an agent, that's my greatest goal with NIL is, let me help you and let me make this as easy as possible for you without it becoming a distraction. Because that is where I think that kids can get really stuck, is money is enticing, especially when you're young. And some of these deals are awesome. Like, you're making a few $1,000 off an Instagram post, like, that's great. And that can skew your priorities if the money is really good. So I think we try to advise all of our young men that we work with to make sure that their priorities are staying in check for the long term and that nothing is really distracting them. It's just a bonus. It's just adding and enriching their experience as a college athlete.
Emily, I'm not opposed to the NIL. I think it's a good thing at the end of the day. But I have questions such as, you've got a quarterback, say Bryce Young at Alabama, who's making, let's just say, $1 million. What about the guy or the person on the swim team that's not? Or even your own teammate. I mean, there's a lot of gray areas, like you said, where such and such can make this, and then at the end of the day, his teammate's making this. I think there could be problems in the locker room to start with. I mean, that's just, to me, that's the bottom of the rung. That's the last rung on the ladder. And then it goes up from there as far as, well, okay, how much are boosters involved? How much are the schools involved? And I know the schools are not supposed to be, but how much really is happening behind the scenes?
Yeah, and in that way, it's sort of regulated as a free market, right? Players generate their own demand. What I will say is NIL is great because it's not always tied to athletic ability in terms of your ability to generate income. There's a lot of players who have used social media to their advantage, and they have awesome personalities. They're so charismatic, and they've been able to generate this income that they might not get because they might not make it to the next level. In fact, most of college athletes don't. It's a very, very small amount who do. And so NIL is great in that way because Montana understands, right? Like, you guys are college football towns. Like, you love college football, college sports. It's important. You know your players. And for them, in those kind of communities where college athletics are really big, it's an awesome opportunity for those athletes. And I think for those ones who are in the margin, it just provides an opportunity that otherwise they probably would never have.
You just signed someone from Montana State a couple weeks ago. Can we say who it is, or I don't know the rules about NIL. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. No, Montana's great because there's not a ton of hoops that we have to jump through. You know, every single state is different.
Sure.
I just went through the process in California, and of course, you know, that was the whole mess. But no, Montana's easy, and Montana State is awesome. I think at the end of the day, every compliance department just wants a really open and honest relationship with the agent, with the player. They want to know what's going on. And, you know, I had a great experience working with them. And so we are going to work with Isaiah Ifanzi, who's a running back at Montana State. He's a stud, but I think for us, again, it's developing his brand. It's getting him connected to a lot of these different brand reps for the next level, and just kind of getting him comfortable with this process so he can really experience it and kind of put his toes in the water in a really safe environment, and also just build relationships in the Bozeman community and that whole area. I think it's awesome in that way. Like, there's a lot of businesses who want to work with these guys, and it's fun for them to work with those businesses and get established in the community and meet different people who maybe are alumni. I think in that way, there's sort of this added bonus of relationship building and, you know, opportunities past college in that way too.
No, and that absolutely makes sense. And let me ask you, when you're looking at NIL deals, is it and I brought this up a little bit earlier, is it the stud? Is it the top of, you know, the top 5 athletes, or is it, you know, the bench warmer that is super popular on social media? I mean, what are you looking for when you're looking for NIL?
Well, for us, it's an opportunity to foster trust and develop a relationship with the guy, you know, earlier than we would in the context of being an NFL agent, right? Okay. There's a lot of rules as an NFL agent that I would never have this access to guys if I was just approaching them in that way, to represent them in that way. And so it's basically a trial run. And I think, again, in that way, it's awesome for athletes because you can start working with agents. And if it's not a great fit, and if maybe you don't develop that sense of trust, you can go find a different agency. And that's already happened. I think the problem with last year is a lot of the players' associations kind of drug their feet after the NIL rules came out. So none of us who were certified wanted to get involved because we were worried about our certification. And that created this huge amount of time that people who are not certified, who do not have experience in this space, they kind of all jumped on this opportunity to get into NIL representation. And now we're seeing a lot of those athletes who signed with them leave and come to more established agencies, certified agents, people with more experience, more relationships, because they're realizing that there is a significant difference in terms of quality of representation and types of opportunities.
Do you see, and is there, and this was one of the questions that came up today with golf, will there be an issue as far as the transfer portal, the money with the NIL? I mean, we saw it with Deion Sanders and Jackson State, supposedly or allegedly. I mean, we're not supposed to say officially, but you know what I'm saying is, you know, Texas has the boosters with the Pancake Club, and then you've got this school with this. Will we see a disadvantage, Emily, from the FBS to the FCS schools because of NIL?
You know, I think right now there's a lot of instability, which inherently feels like a disadvantage to a lot of teams, of course. So I think in a lot of ways we're going to have to make some adjustments just for the sake of the game, right? And the whole argument with college athletics is that it's not professional and there's a level of amateurism, and whether or not you believe that personally, right, that's the NCAA's whole deal, and that's their whole line on being a college athlete. So I think my opinion is there will be, like, slowly we will start to initiate kind of breaks on this whole deal. But right now, it's a little early because we haven't really been able to see how this really pans out in the next season, right? So, of course, you've seen all the transfers, but will it affect the quality of the game? Will it affect the experience as a fan? Those are things that we don't necessarily know yet. So as that starts to happen, and of course, if ratings start to change, like, then we're going to see changes really fast. And I think a lot of it has to do with just specific schools, because different coaches have very different mindsets on NIL, right? Some of them think it's a huge recruiting advantage. Some of them don't. And that will have influence in their own school's compliance department and their own school's rules, because at the end of the day, it's the university that's making the rules. They have to, of course, comply with whatever state they're operating within, but they can regulate more than whatever the state's laws are.
Okay, you probably don't represent him, but can we say, where will Troy Anderson be drafted?
Oh my God!
How cool would it be to have a Dillon boy, a rival of Lewistown and your brother, but a Bobcat, and I mean, this kid's anywhere from second to fourth round. So where do you see him going?
Oh man, it's so hard for me to know. I try to avoid a lot of this just because I represent so many guys who are draft eligible and training right now. So there's a bit that I have to shy away from just for the sake of,
You've got to be politically correct.
Yes, I have to be careful there. But
it's almost like recruiting. You're a coach. You can't talk about him until he signs with you.
Exactly. But it is really great to see guys from Montana and Idaho get their shot to prove themselves, because there's a lot of really talented young men in these areas, and what I appreciate is they're really good men.
Yes.
And it's nice to see them get their opportunity, but also just show the world what they're made of in terms of their character.
Yep. All right. I have 2 questions left. Super Bowl winner, who is it?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think everyone's rooting for the Bengals, right? Like, I guess
Cooper's
for me,
a great guy.
I know, he really is. I grew up a Seahawks fan, right? So not a huge Rams fan for several reasons.
Sure. I got you.
The Rams are hard to love, They're like, they have so many stars that it's like the storyline. It's like, how could you not want to root for the Bengals, But I think there is great men on both sides, and I have relationships with guys on both teams, and I think at the end of the day, it's a huge accomplishment for both of the teams in very different ways to get where they've gotten. For the Bengals, of course, in the context of their team's history, it's huge. It's historic, and it's awesome to see Burrow lead them to that point, and he's just got this awesome momentum that he's built in terms of the last 3 years. It's pretty unheard of. So it's exciting for them. I'm really excited for that franchise's future. But, at the end of the day, when you're kind of weighing the pros and cons, I think the Rams obviously have a lot of advantages on both sides of the ball. So, if the Bengals play like they did against the Chiefs and somehow get Matt Stafford to forget how to play football, then it's anybody's game, right?
Pretend he's in Detroit again. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. So we'll see.
Right.
But I know it'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch.
I've had high school coaches, I've had college coaches on my show this week. That was the lamest answer you gave, Emily. Of all my guests this week, that was the lamest. I'm just saying.
I just hope everyone has fun. That's the agent's narrative. Actually, I will say Nick Ballore, who's, obviously a Seahawk, he, in the Rams 49ers game, the playoff game, I think he tweeted, "I hope both teams lose." And I was like, that really encapsulates what it means to be a Seahawks fan this season for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So at the end of the day, I got to get you as my agent. We're going to talk about that later. I'm going to send you a text. We'll talk about that next week. Okay, but Oh man, there's so much like questions I have for you as far as all of that is concerned. But all right, so you're not picking the Super Bowl winner because you're an agent, so we can't. How many times have you been asked to do the Jerry Maguire "Show Me the Money"?
Oh my God! You know what's so funny? What's really funny about that is one of the coaches I represent plays at ASU. And so that was like his first thing is he was making sure that I knew what he was talking about. That was my first test as an agent. And fortunately I passed. So he's not my client, but yeah, it's great. And Lee, the agent that whole story is based off of, has been an awesome champion for women in this space and is really into mentorship and making this type of role accessible for everyone. So it's interesting to watch that movie now because knowing him for the man he is now, it's just like, it's funny. It really, Hollywood did their magic in that movie. I will say that.
I will say Scott Boras is not my favorite agent. You are.
Yeah. You and several others, probably.
Oh, yes, yes.
I think that's the great thing about agents is we're all very different, and it gives players an advantage in that they can find the agent that really aligns with their values, their personality, their goals, and I really appreciate that. So, of course, there is a wide array of different personalities and strengths and weaknesses as agents, but I think that diversity is great because the players are diverse too in terms of their goals. And so, some people love Scott, especially the ones who he makes a lot of money for, right?
Yep. No, it's all about the money for him. Hey, Emily, I want to get you back on down the road, but seriously, we should talk about representing me because I need to expand the Jason Walker Show.
I'd love to. Yeah, let's definitely connect.
All right, we will. Hey, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Go Fergus County, right? Your brother.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And we'll chat soon. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for joining us. And like I said, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. You as well. Take care. Bye.
That is Emily Saker joining us here on the Jason Walker Show. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk sports betting. Mike Yam next. Hang on.
New vehicles keep coming, and Capital Collision Center keeps earning certifications to repair them. They're Helena's newest GM-certified facility. No matter the make or year, they repair your car to manufacturer's standards and requirements, maintaining its safety and value. Montana state law says it's your vehicle, and it's your choice where you have it repaired. Choose Capital Collision Center, certified in GM, Subaru, and Nissan, and Helena's only shop certified in Honda, Acura, and Ford. When you value safety, new vehicles keep...
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients, along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com.
All right, final segment on a Friday, Jason Walker Show. Oh, we're having fun. Hey, we're going to hop into it. We got the walk-off coming up. We got on this day in history. We got a ton of stuff. But I want to get to our next guest because he's got to go on. You got to go on radio or TV in the next 90 minutes. What is it?
Radio show over on Sirius XM, a little Pac-12 radio. But yeah, I've just been bouncing around. You know the deal. You know how all this stuff works.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mike Yam joining us. Did you work in Montana?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm actually a Northeast guy, but I did not. Have not.
So
not
we have the same friend in Alex Eshelman. How does that happen?
So she went to U of A, was a student there, and I've always kind of kept in touch with a lot of the students because I got a lot out of, mentors for me when I was still in college. So we just connected, and then she got a fellowship at Pac-12 Network when I was there, and we just kind of became fast friends.
Do you know, speaking of the Pac-12 then, that would be Nicole Rigoni?
I absolutely do because when I sometimes I still say we as if I worked there. Look, I was there in 2012. I was there for the launch for like 8-9 years, so I do feel like I can kind of drop that occasionally, that we. But yes, absolutely do know Nicole.
Okay, yeah, because she was on my show for a few months last year. She was great.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah.
So our worlds are colliding,
right? No, Mike, it's a small world. Like, and I followed you, I think, on Twitter for a long time because. All right, so. I know you got to get on the air, but I have so many questions. And I apologize, but we'll get you back to talk sports betting and all that.
We'll do it.
All right. So if you're betting this week on the Super Bowl, right? Like, how are we betting? What should we look for? What are the trends? Give me all of that stuff, right?
Okay. So I love where your head's at because I'm not a bettor. That's not necessarily what I do, but I love data and I love the analytics. And actually a buddy of mine from high school built out this platform, brought me on as a co-founder. It's called Pine Sports. So if you go to pine-sports.com, we have tools that literally just do not exist anywhere else. People will tell you can do custom modeling, not like we do it. Basically, if you're a sports fan, in a drop-down menu, you don't need to know how to code. You just pick the stats that you think decide a game. Whatever they are, 5 stats, 20 stats, whatever the number is. And our artificial intelligence tool that will go back and scan and analyze multiple games and then give you a confidence projection on what it thinks based off of the data that you told it is important in a game, what that confidence number is, whatever that percentage is. So that's helping people. And then we have like prop projectors and fantasy projectors, and we have machine learning tools in literally 3 clicks that'll get you a projection on a specific player. The site is completely free to use. And in a lot of ways, Jason, it was about democratizing the data because people are charging there's some other sites that tell you they can do the custom thing, and they aren't. But then they're also charging you hundreds of bucks to use it. We thought it was sort of ridiculous. We knew there was a better way, and we've done our best to try to create that.
All right. What's the site?
Pine-sports.com is all you need to do is check that out. There's a social side. A lot of our users too are creating these models and just kind of learning, whatever they learn, they're creating posts to share some of those learned insights with our community. It's actually really awesome to see people kind of get together in this way.
All right. So can we bet on how long the national anthem will take?
So the anthem, so that's the thing, we're not even a place to bet. We just give you the tools and the data in a digestible way. We don't have the national anthem. So our stuff is only all player stuff, but I know it's an awesome time
Come
of
on,
year.
Mike.
I know. Bad job by us. People are asking me all the time, hey, Jamar Chase, how many yards is he going to get in this game? Joe Burrow, what do you think he's going to do? Or Matthew Stafford. It's dude, type in the name and, you want to do passing yards, you can do that in 3 clicks.
Okay.
And, you want to talk about touchdowns and all that stuff. All that data is there for anyone to access completely free.
All right. So it's pine-sports.com. Now, my wife made her first ever sports bet this week. And
whoa.
she put, I know. She put $50 on the Bengals and the over.
$50, high roller. Here we go.
Well, but the over of 48.
You got it like that? All right.
Well, yeah. Well, she makes the money. I'm just a sports talk guy. But she goes $50 on the Bengals and 48.5. So she took the over 48.5. Is that a good bet?
I haven't crunched the numbers just yet, but I can crunch those numbers on Pine. Jason, you know this as one sports talk guy to another. I know how many shows and how many hours you're on air. I know how many hours I've been on air this past week and how crazy it's been. But you made reference to the show that I got coming up in a couple minutes. Yes, this is the second show that I'm hosting today for Sirius XM. So it's absolutely hysterical, just those types of questions. And it's funny. I'm like, hey, actually, I could get you that answer in about 30 seconds once I log on to the site. But that's the point. Like, it sounds like your wife has got for her first bet actually has a pretty good handle on the situation here.
Okay. What other sports does Pine Sports do? Like, is it just football, or are we talking everything?
No, man, it's four major sports. If you're a baseball fan, hopefully we get to see some baseball. You're an NBA fan, you're a hockey fan, you're a football fan. Those are the sports right now where we have the data, and we'll be adding more pretty soon, because you and I both know that there's a lot of enthusiastic fans on some of these other sports like college football, which is where I spent most of my time the last couple of years covering.
Oh, no doubt. Okay, so let me ask you, what's the over under, or I mean that might even, what's the bet number on? Are we going to have 162 games, or is it shortened?
Oh, you and I both know we're taking the under on that, right? I mean, it's like it's dudes with a whole lot of cash bickering over who gets a little bit more cash and some of the other stuff. Like, that thing's gonna play out, I think, for a little bit, which is just, it's unfortunate, right? I mean, we all lived through the COVID situation and not getting sports for a while, and then watching the NBA in the bubble. It's kind of like, man, that's actually one of the cool things, Jason, these last couple of days, just sort of seeing people in person again, guys coming by the set and, just shaking someone's hand again, or just reliving kind of like pre-COVID days, which was pretty awesome.
I almost forget what those days are like, Mike. I mean, all right, so 2 years, is it 2 years, 2024, Vegas, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I will be there on Radio Row. Are you going to be a guest on my show?
First of all, we don't even have to wait till Radio Row, Super Bowl, for me to hang out with you, man. You got my number. Let's call anytime. We'll go and we'll do this. But 100%, if you're there and I'm there, we're in.
Okay. I know you got to run because you got a show. I'm guessing you're more professional, so you're prepared. You had prep like an hour and a half ago, right?
I would say yesterday. Probably got a pretty good handle on the show. I got to stay ahead of it, man. I got to stay ahead of it as much as I can.
So if you go to pine-sports.com, what is the best bet we can make right now before Super Bowl Sunday?
Well, here's the thing. Whatever bet or whatever, fantasy deal, if you're doing daily fantasy, whatever you're doing, you tell the system and it will give you the answer.
Oh, I like that.
So it's not like, and look, I mean, we also have, our machine learning tools actually rank all the best, props that are out there. So if you do want a little bit of a cheat sheet, those also exist.
Okay. Hey, I know I screwed you on time because Emily Staker went long. I mean, she's cuter than you at the end of the day. But hey, I want to get you back. We'll talk some sports betting, okay? Are we good with that?
100%, man. You call me anytime.
All right. Hey, enjoy the Super Bowl. Are you going in person?
I am not. I'm going to do my typical pigs in a blanket and find a good bottle of cab that I can crack open.
Okay, I like that. Maybe
and enjoy the halftime show.
Yes. Are we excited about that or what? You got to get on the air in like a minute. Dude, Mike, you got to go. You got to get on the air. Sirius XM is more important than Jason Walker's show, or is it?
No, not more important, but I will say it'll be the greatest halftime show we'll ever see.
Yes, I like it. Hey, Mike, thank you.
That story.
We will talk soon, and I appreciate the time, man.
Anytime, man. Take care.
All right, that is Mike Yam joining us. He is the NFL and NFL Network. He's like the man. So there you go. All right, let's do On This Day in History. It is brought to you by Pinkerton & Company. Pinkerton & Company, a combat veteran-owned company out of Wyoming. Everything's made out of American leather. Everything is guaranteed. And you need to go to mtsports10.com, Pinkertonleather.com, mtsports10 for a 10% discount. All right, so today is February 11th. Dudes, if you haven't got your Valentine's order, you're screwed. It is Inventor's Day, Make a Friend Day, and on this date, 1928, the second Winter Olympic Games opened in Switzerland. By the way, that was the last time ski joring was held in the Olympics, and ski joring is going to be in Boulder this weekend. Willie Mays signed a big contract, $130,000 a year on this date in 1966. 1990, James Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson in Tokyo in the 10th round. 2018, Dutchman Sven Kramer becomes the only male speed skater to win same Olympic event 3 times, claiming gold in the 5,000 in Pyeongchang. Happy birthday, Burt Reynolds, born on this date in 1936. Jennifer Aniston, born on this date in 1969. And it was 61 below on this date in Montana back in 1899. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss?
Who knows?
Time for the walk-off.
The walk-off presented by Cafe Zydeco, where the Big Easy meets the Big Sky. Stop it. Hey, we got some great basketball this weekend. We have some great high school hoops. We have state swimming. We got state wrestling. There's a little bit of everything this weekend, and you can go to 406mtsports.com for everything you need to know. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be down in Butte. Tech Providence, men's and women's doubleheader. And I look forward to those. Those games are going to be the Tech men coming off a loss to Carroll College. Yep, they're going to be a little upset. And the wrestling. Oh, God, I wish I was in Billings. But I got to do basketball tomorrow. All right. Hey, thanks to all of our great guests this week. Guy Almquist.
Who else did we talk to?
Danny Sprinkle, Brandon Day, Katie Garson-Forba, Carson Bender, Lance Hartzler, Emily Staker, Mike Yam, Joe Nichols. Go get his new album. It came out today. We'll see you Monday. Auto Contest, Performance of the Week, and so much more. And by the way, if a school runs a PBR commercial, that's actually a really good thing. Eat it, Grizz fans. Hey, we'll see you back here Monday, 4 o'clock. Have yourself... Whoops. I don't know what's going on. Stop that. Have yourself a great weekend. I don't know what's going on. Stop that. Stop. No, stop. All right. We'll see you back here Monday.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.